Good morning. This is your hillbilly historian coming to you from the hills of East Tennessee. Give you history that you won't hardly find in any textbooks, high school or college. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a unique character by the name of Armand Hammer. A-R-M-A-N-D, Hammer, H-A-M-M-E-R. Armand Hammer. He was born in the late 1800s in Eastern Europe and grew up there. Him and his brothers went to medical school. He was a very liberal-oriented, progressive thinking type person. And they got into trouble for doing abortions and stuff, which were quite illegal back in those days. But they were progressive, like I say. And Armand, he became close friends of Lenin, the same Lenin that overthrew the Russian monarch and took control, power in Russia. He was the head of the communist revolution in Russia. The Reds, who fought the Whites for about 4 or 5 years and eventually won and took over control of Russia. Lenin passed away after a few years and Stalin took over. And Armand Hammer was in real tight with these communists who ran Russia, Lenin and then Stalin. And Armand Hammer became a businessman after he got run out of his country for performing abortions and stuff. And he got Lenin to give him the sole proprietorship or monopoly of selling Russian natural resources in the West. You see, communism, socialism doesn't produce or create anything. The only way they could actually earn any money or make any money was through the sale of natural resources. Under the Tsar, Russia was one of the biggest exporters of wheat in the world. But when the communists took over, then tried to nationalize the farms under Stalin, collectivize them, they starved. They had to import food. You take farms away from people who've been farming it for thousands of years, give it to a bunch of bureaucrats who don't know crap about anything, people are going to starve to death. That's what socialism does. It kills their own people and a lot of others people as well. But the only way they have of making money is selling natural resources. They would even take food away from the farmers and those few that were left and sell it. So the Communist Party would have money to build tanks and planes and stuff. And in fact, in 1941, when Germany invaded Russia, they had the largest army in the world. They had like 25,000 tanks, thousands of airplanes, millions of soldiers. They just didn't know how to deal with it. Stalin had all his officers, high officers, murdered because he was afraid of them pulling off a coup and overthrowing his communist government. But anyway, selling these natural resources through that harvest natural resources with slave labor, or they charged people with silly crimes back in Moscow and St. Petersburg, Stalingrad, and Leningrad, and send them to these gulags across Siberia as slave labor to harvest natural resources for the communists to sell around the world. And the Communist Party, that's the way they had of earning money, through slavery and theft and that sort of thing. But anyway, Armand Hammer got the exclusive deal with Lenin and then Stalin to sell Russian natural resources in the West. Now, there's a lot of countries that didn't want to purchase natural resources from a communist country because there was fear of communism and hatred for it, as it should be. Any form of socialism should be feared and hated. But anyway, Armand Hammer came to the United States and talked to a hick senator from Tennessee, a redneck by the name of Al Gore Sr. The only reason he became senior is he had a son named him Al Gore Jr. So Al Gore Sr. helped Armand Hammer market Russian communist natural resources in the United States. And one of those resources was oil. And Armand Hammer created a company called the Occidental Oil Company. And that is the company that Al Gore Sr. pushed in the United States to sell communist oil here in the United States in the free market area. And Al Gore Sr., redneck, hillbilly, liar. His son was a chronic liar, faker, hoaxer, made a fortune off climate problems, issues, environmental issues. And but Al Gore Sr. marketed Occidental oil. In fact, in the year 2000, when Al Gore Jr. ran for president against W. Bush, now boy, there was a case. I'm pretty sure I voted Libertarian that year. I couldn't stand the Bush clan or the Gore clan. But anyway, Al Gore Jr. ran in 2000, and the only wealth he declared was Occidental oil stock. He had about $2 million in Occidental oil stock that he had inherited from his father. And that was the wealth of the Gore family, the beginning wealth. And they got it through marketing Lenin and Stalin's natural resources here in the United States under cover of names, made up names and stuff. It's amazing how corruption works in the United States. Corruption, lying, thieving. It's amazing how that works here in the United States and how they get away with it. It's amazing. And Al Gore Jr., he was a piece of garbage. I remember there's a paper plant in North Carolina, and several of those rivers up there in the mountains of North Carolina flowed into East Tennessee. And this paper plant was putting toxins and carcinogens and stuff in the water of one of the rivers, and it was coming into East Tennessee, causing cancer and everything. And they held a big meeting up in Waynesville, North Carolina, between one of the North Carolina senators, Al Gore Jr., executives from the paper mill, to discuss resolving this issue. Well, Al Gore Jr. sold his own state. He was senator of Tennessee at that time. He sold out his own state to North Carolina in the paper mill, and that morning and that afternoon he was at one of the golf courses up there around Waynesville, Asheville, North Carolina, playing golf with the executives of the North Carolina paper mill that was dumping toxins and carcinogens into this river that was causing Tennessee problems. Now there's your environmentalist for you. Liar, liar, liar. He wasn't no more pro-environment than anything. He sold out. He was pro-money, which most politicians are. If you watch my video on the lesson that Al Capone taught this country is how cheaply these politicians sell out. And Al Gore Sr. sold out to the communists in Russia to market their natural resources here in the United States to make money to strengthen the Communist Party in Moscow in Russia. It's amazing. And Armand Hammer was the brains behind all that. And of course, he got filthy, filthy rich selling those natural resources here in the West, in Europe and in the United States and other countries in the Western Hemisphere. Amazing. Armand Hammer. And you can look him up. There's books about him in most libraries. And you can look him up on the internet. Real interesting character. And this is your hillbilly historian on a beautiful Saturday morning here in East Tennessee, giving you history that you won't find in your high school or college textbooks. But here, with a hillbilly historian, I will learn you about these people. And signing off from the hills of Appalachia here in East Tennessee.